What's going on, yo? I'm back with another quick volume of Welcome to the Franchise here. Here to tap into the most recent NFL news that we got here today, and a little bit about how that could be a good look and a good move here. So let me get straight into it right now. As we all know, or most of us know, or some of us know, recently it just went down that Geno Smith's been traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. So this is something that was kind of circulating out there in the media mix and everything like that. One of them stories a few weeks ago that Geno Smith could be a trade piece going to the Raiders with Pete Carroll being there. We all know that Pete Carroll loves Geno. Geno's got a good relationship with Pete Carroll there. And then there was like a little video or something surfacing around out there in the internet mix that Pete Carroll was on a plane talking with the representatives or the coaches from the Seahawks for mad long. So it looked like he was politicking there, finessing, wheeling and dealing, trying to, finesse his way into making this trade that happened. So I think that it's a good look. I also think that for the Raiders, even though they got Geno Smith now, they got a quarterback in there who at this point right now is a good veteran that can still start and probably get whoever's going to be behind him ready to start, or could start this full season and everything like that, and maybe get them in a playoff push, maybe as a wild card, but at least start a playoff push to turn around the culture a little bit here with this roster. And I think that with Vegas still making this move, you're still in position to still trade up or draft for Shedeur Sanders. I didn't go all into the details yet of the trade, but I'm pretty sure it ain't for no first rounder. Nobody is going to be giving away no first rounder for Geno. Not a shot to Geno there and everything like that. But we know at this point in his career right now, he's not one of those quarterbacks. I don't think any of the big veteran quarterbacks, to be honest with you, is worth a first-round pick. That's why I kind of thought it was crazy throughout the last couple weeks. Motherfuckers was talking about, Matt Stafford should go for a first-round pick to the Giants. I'm just like, I don't know about that one. But back to the Vegas Raiders, who they were also going for Matt Stafford, but they trade for Geno Smith. I still think that, you still got to trade up to the number one spot or the number two spot, or you could stay where you're at with all these bullshit-ass stories of Shedeur Sanders falling or even falling as far as number 29 in the draft. If you're there at number 6, don't be stupid, and he's still there, go ahead and draft him also. So the good thing about this, too, is that with Shedeur being drafted and you got Geno Smith in there, it gives you a chance to still have a steady starter who's a veteran, has experience about, people talking shit on him, or he had a bad start to his career, bounced around here and there. So he could glean some of that wisdom on the Shedeur, you know what I mean, on top of all of the other mentorship and information that Shedeur already has around him with his father and other, and Tom Brady and other people that he's probably learned from throughout his years coming up and playing football, right? So you got that with the mentorship, and then while you have Geno starting and also you have Shedeur learning or backing him up, it helps with being able to still fill out the roster for Shedeur's future and for the future of this franchise to really start competing and maybe be, the next team, or actually make a complete in the whole division, because that whole division is going to be tough now with the Chargers, Broncos, of course the Chiefs are the king of that division, but now you got all 4 of them, and the Raiders out here saying, yo, we here too, motherfuckers. Like, we gonna be there. Right now we chilling and shit, we getting shit together, but in a few years we gonna be there. So I think this is a good look, and they still could draft Shedeur, and it gives them a chance to start really filling out the roster and building things up for, Shedeur's future, or whatever rookie quarterback or another quarterback next year, or whichever young quarterback they might sign or trade for, who knows, in the future there. So I think that's a good look. What it also might mean here in this same story is that there might be a chance that the Raiders might not be done yet dealing with the Seahawks. Because check this, right? If DK doesn't get traded to somewhere like the Pats, which, there's a story coming out about that now, he might go to New England. And if he doesn't go to Buffalo, like I said, that's one of the destinations he should go to, although more stories out there about him going to the Chargers and, other teams like that. But if he doesn't go to Buffalo or the Pats, then maybe You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Raiders beat the Chargers to the punch there. You know, maybe they beat them to the punch. I mean, Carroll also loves DK. DK, you seen how it was from his draft day, even throughout. You seen some footage on the sideline throughout his career with the Seahawks and with Carroll coaching. Seems like DK loves Carroll also. You know, so I think they might not be done yet, and that might be a good look and a good deal. But I also did hear that, and this could be just a rumor or something made up out there also, to push a trade through, or to push a trade through for either GENO or DK or whatever the fuck. But there was a little story out there that I caught real quick, that there was a little bit of friction at some point last season or the season before, the last couple of seasons, between DK and GENO. So I don't really know if that make-believe ass type shit could happen with the deal, with them also trying to trade for DK Metcalf as well. Although, right, I did see just now a little rumor story come out, right, that these motherfuckers fucked around and offered MAXX Crosby, right, for both DK and GENO to come through. So now with that story out, that shit still might be on the table. And like I said, if the Chargers, teams like the Bills, whoever else wants to get in the mix to get DK, teams like the Texans, or shit, maybe the Broncos might pull a surprise move now, seeing how the Raiders is moving and the Chargers are trying to move. The Raiders might be able to pull that one off and do a nice little, you know what I'm saying? Nice little sneak move right there, and pull that trade off. I would go for it. I definitely would. You got the coach there that both guys like, even if there is friction there. We're all professionals here. We're all grown men here. We're all veterans here, right? Pete Carroll could be the one to bring them in the room and have a real conversation and try to smooth this thing out and mediate and be like, listen, let's hash it all out and let's move forward and let's try and get shit rocking here in Vegas. So with that rumor coming out, if it's true, they try to offer MAXX for both DK and GENO in the trade, then that means the Raiders might not be quite done yet dealing with the Seahawks. And if I were them, I would definitely pull the trigger on that if I can, and try and do that before the Chargers or the Broncos may make a play to get them. Definitely the Chargers, it seems like they're favored to try and go for a receiver, a veteran receiver, and before the Bills do also. And then what it also may mean for a dude like Aaron Rodgers, right? Because I was saying this from jump. I think that Rodgers to the Raiders made the most sense. And then after that, how it was looking with everything, even with the Rams situation kind of being an open opportunity there for him for a split second, until Matt Stafford and the Rams came to their senses and agreed to come back and do it for some more years with each other, some more seasons with each other, right? I think Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders makes sense, and it still makes sense even if they want to draft SHEDEUR. And what it means for him right now is he may be running out of some options for a spot to play right now. And this is why one of the things I also said is, you might just got to chill, fall back, and take a small little career hiatus right now. If you don't want to retire, wait till shit clears out for next season or later on this season, and then hop in on the team with an actual contender. Because the other thing, too, I did say is I don't really want to see Aaron Rodgers go out like that. If he is still going to play, and if he does play one more season before he retires, I want to see him play for a good playoff team, or at least a contender. I'd rather you go out like that to keep a little bit of legend in that vibe to your name when you retire. Because going out with the Jets for the last 2 years, how that went, that shit, niggas not rocking with that. So at this point now, it looked like it's up in the air between the Steelers, Giants, or Tennessee. And that's in that order to me. First, I put Steelers because I think, the respect and admiration that him and Tomlin low-key have for each other and everything. I think that would be a good match. Also, you got a good defense around you. They're still going to have to get their offensive line a little better for him there and everything. So and also because that's really all that's left. We really don't want to see him end up with the Giants. Titans, maybe so-so. We'll see what they do in the draft. It looks like they're building something, but are they really going to be a playoff push like that? And maybe just a better version of the Jet situation he was just in there. But yeah, Steelers, I think, should be the top, and unless they decide to bring back Justin Fields or bring someone else in, or if they fuck around and do some dumb shit and bring back Russ, which I don't think they're gonna do. The Giants, they need to fix their O-line also, but who knows? They may sign somebody, an O-lineman, or make some kind of trade for an O-lineman, or they may draft an O-lineman. They still in position. They could draft an O-lineman, a really good one at number 3, or trade back and still draft another good one. It's kind of O-line heavy, O-line solid in the first round here, so maybe they could do that. The funny thing about that to me, though, is shit. We'll see, and we'll see. But what if this motherfucker just stays in New York, plays with the Giants, and he actually gets shit lit for the Giants? You know what I mean? That would be the ultimate New York sports type scenario that would happen right there. Of course, with the Jets, it doesn't work, and it all goes to shit. You go right over to the next spot. I'm not saying go all the way deep in the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl, nothing, but got them looking respectable, fun to watch and shit like that. You know what I mean? Or at least making a playoff push, or fuck around and slip in there as a wild card if another team ain't on, ain't staying on point at the end of the season or whatever the fuck they got to do. So that shit would be kind of funny to see. And then I want to just wrap up with this quick story right here. I seen a little fake story, right? That an NFL social media site or whatever posted that A.J. Brown was getting traded to the Patriots. I mean, that shit will be wild as fuck. It sounds wild as fuck and everything, but I did hear and was seeing that under, all the comments and shit or whatever, because it's entertaining, it's fun. We all like sports. We want to kind of make up scenarios or see what stories out there that are real or fake and scenarios and everything. It's just talk, right? And it's fun. It's sports talk, right? So I was seeing people saying that it may have been a trade that was initiated due to like the recent comments and some recent interviews between him and Slay, also about the offense, and I think about Jalen Hurts. I don't know. I don't know. And shit, the other thing too is he did have that little post on IG, about target still after the Super Bowl, and he had a big game in the Super Bowl. He was targeted. Everybody ate in the Super Bowl, and they won. Right? No reminder needed there. Everybody, they won. And me, when I seen that, when I saw that shit circulating around in the internet mix, I thought that shit was fake myself. But then I really looked into it, and it was real. And they were talking about it on shows, and that shit was real. Shit. I ain't gonna lie, like, if he's still moving like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they did want to ship his ass out of there. I wouldn't be surprised if they did want to ship that nigga off and everything like that, with how he was moving throughout the whole season, and talking, and then after the fact, even after we win a championship, and then, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't tap into the interviews or anything like that, so I don't know exactly what was said and all that, but a bunch of shit is hearsay, so I take some of that shit kind of lightly when I hear it and everything. I'm like, I didn't hear it myself for what was said, so I ain't gonna say he's shitting on his quarterback or nothing like that, but he was saying, I did catch a couple little clips about him talking about the offense and another receiver that used to play with them, Quez Watkins and shit like that. But whatever, if they were, let's just say, if they were really to ship this nigga, which I don't think they will, and they shouldn't, and they would be dumb if they did, but Harry Roseman is a dog, so he'd be smart if he could, and flip it for some good assets or another good player, which I know he's capable of, so it wouldn't be that far off from reality, and I wouldn't be I'd be surprised, but I'd be like, damn, that shit kind of tracks. It's on brand for a motherfucker like Harry Roseman, right? But if they were to ship him, I still would like to see him play for another contender. I wouldn't want to see him go to the fucking Patriots. You know what I mean? To play with Drake May. They still building over there. I know they got Vrabel, good coach and everything like that. He's going to set a new foundation, or his own spin, I guess, of a Patriot way in this new 2025 and beyond, generation and everything with the Patriots. But I don't want to see him go there. I want to see him go to a contender still, because I like his style of play. You know what I mean? The way he comes on the field and approaches the game at the wide receiver position. He's one of them dudes that his game is A1. It's always on point. I'd like to see because I think they could use an extra element like this, and I think this is a team that I think a lot of people are forgetting about and not talking about because how they went out and how it ended and everything like that. And everyone's talking about what the Bengals need to do, what the Bills need to do, what the Chiefs need to do to get back, who needs to beat the Eagles, what are the Chargers going to do, and the Broncos are coming. But the Ravens, I think the Ravens, if they could pull that off or whatever, depending on how it shakes out, if the Eagles want to pay the remaining of their deal and they give up a little sum, a third or some, or a few picks anywhere else, or a first and a third next year, the Ravens, I'd like to see, if they want to ship that nigga off and they're really tired of him, I'd like to see the Ravens make that play. Brown, Bateman, and Zay, shit, that would be a good fucking look right there. And then you got Isaiah Likely right there too. Wouldn't be a bad look. I like to see that. And he's still playing for a contender, playing with one of the best QBs, one of the top elite QBs in the game in Lamar. Get them over the hump, get back to the Super Bowl again. Who knows? You might be playing your former team who shipped you off, the Eagles, and you might win one over them. That would be fun to see, but that's another little, of course, crazy, wild scenario, a little make-believe scenario type shit that it should, just being a football fan and everything, it would be fun to see. But that's going to wrap this one up with this quick volume of Welcome to the Franchise for me. Y'all out there, be easy.